Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi, and as always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, BC Ugbo. How you doing?
Doing amazing.
You've been selling and marketing and everything all
I've
week.
been marketing and marketing, selling and not
doing?
so sure because of the environment. But hopefully this weekend things will pick up. So I'm still at the Mr. Sold Out live at Oba, just beside WAEC, the Nigerian Institute of Journalism, where there's a big compound there, and there are other vendors who are going to be doing that as well. But on Saturday, I will be at Vibranium Valley, 42 Airport Road, Ikeja, Lagos, for the Kids Beats Fair. Children will be selling.
Vibranium, is that
Vibranium,
not
yes.
So
Wakanda?
Yes.
Vibranium.
Vibranium,
I
yeah.
heard that word.
So our children would have an opportunity to sell their wares, people that are artistic. I want every child, if you're within Lagos, just come there. There are going to be a lot of games. They will be teaching children how to do business. My little daughter, Kaima, will be handling my store. It's going to be interesting.
Where?
Vibranium now, Airport Road, Ikeja.
Nice.
Yeah, so Kids Beats Fair. The children are the ones doing this business. So it's a way to encourage, kidpreneur. A way to encourage children to get into the business, make some money and all that. I'll have a store there as well. So come and shop for your kids.
How you doing, Tokwe?
I'm good. So I'm going to be attending and Mike Okoche's event today. They are going to be receiving native titles from chieftaincy title. Yeah. And it's like, I'm really like, these are two people that I've, over the years, seen them grow, doing so well. And so it's a case of shut down whatever it is and honor the invitation. Yeah. So I'm going to be there.
You should become Chief Mrs.
Yes.
Chief Mrs.
Chief Mrs. MM. I don't want to mispronounce what the title that will be coming on Mike and MM.
Don't bother.
It's a big deal, and I'm congratulating
just initially at some point.
Advance.
How are you doing, Mariam?
I'm fine.
Nice and bright this morning.
Thank you. Today is my lovely mother's birthday. Birthday, Maman Kama. I just want to use this opportunity to say that I love you so much. I mean, when you have good mothers, we take it for granted until you hear people's story and realize that a good mother is because she made a choice to be. And now that you're being a mother yourself, you're realizing, oh my God, it's really about choices that that we make. And I just want to say that I wish you the very, 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 very best of today. And every time I celebrate my mom, I celebrate my aunties, her younger sister and her older sister. They've been there for us, throughout our journey. So my mom had a village, and these two were her big, pillars and support. So thank you very much, both of you, Mrs. Temlong, Pastor Favor, and to my lovely Maman Kamal.
Happy birthday. Thank you for all you do.
Happy birthday. God bless you. See, I was celebrating Mama Kamal. I've not met her. I've not met her.
Are you sure?
Serious? Oh, wow.
I think
I'm the worst of the ladies.
I think the few times when she came here, maybe you were not around.
No. I hear she's around, and I try to make plans to go and see her. But
Then you
something always happens.
It's fine.
I do apologize. I'm the worst of the ladies, I understand.
She knows, she doesn't think so.
Come on. Today is Friday, so much happening back to back. So we're doing MMs. Then today, SDJ, Saladin Jacob, today she'll be awarded a Lifetime Award. Today is today. We're excited. Congratulations to Stella Dean Jacob.
Oh,
yes.
Let me do it properly. Let me find the details, because this is a woman that has worked so hard in journalism, and she needs to be given that special recognition. TVC's news director Stella Dean Jacob to receive a Lifetime Award for journalistic excellence at the Wale Soyinka. It's coming up. Give me a second. But it's not coming up right now, but and it's a Wale Soyinka award for journalism. She's really huge in Nigeria, and I'm so proud of her. Yeah. We love you. God bless you. It's an award that's well deserved.
Yes,
and I'm happy that she's getting this. And then TVC's party.
Yes.
Do you know about it?
I just found out today that you are wearing denim.
Oh wow! You didn't even know the dress code. Oh, fantastic.
I saw somebody really wearing all denim, and I was like, "What's going on?"
It's TVC party, so it's going to be today.
And it's close to home, so I should be able to.
Yeah, fantastic surprise. But I'm happy. It's a packed day. It's a packed day, so it's all coming.
And try and rest on Sunday.
Sunday I can't rest. There's party. There's party Saturday. There's party Sunday.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, Mommy G was phenomenal. Oh my goodness. How she was, you know what? In fact, we Nigerians, we're all just trying to just touch Mommy G and work with Mommy G.
The hem of her
you know,
garment.
did that. You know, when we just followed her to the car to sit down. I'm like, hey, Nigeria, all of us, are we
Just
here?
calm
We're all
down.
here. We don't want to just calm down.
She's earned
But
it.
And that love
but
and
she
support.
is such an aura of greatness. You know, somebody's just sitting down.
Grace.
And grace.
Grace,
Whenever-
And
grace,
when you
grace.
sit there, you're just seeing power, you're seeing grace. I think Father in heaven. When will we get to this level?
I'm having
It was-
goosebumps already.
It was just, she shook me 3 times.
Yeah, I told her, hope you didn't wash your hand.
I didn't wash my hand. When she entered, she shook me, and then she saw it, shook me, and then she finished. 3 times, 3 blessings, double portion.
Triple portion.
Triple portion. Okay, let's go on a break. When we come back, we go to the front pages of the paper. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Emefiele, review of cash withdrawal policy likely. NEDC kicks off building of 12.5 billion naira abandoned 54-kilometer road. Petrol prices must end tomorrow, says DSS. CDS Irabo, military won't be pressurized to compromise 2023 polls. Gunmen steal 4 babies in raid of hospital. Siemens transformers arrive to boost electricity supply. And Rivers government alleges plot to blackmail Wike over G5. Okay, which story? We're starting with the major headline, Emefiele. Who was that story?
I'll take that in the punch.
Okay.
But I want to start with the human interest story here. So gunmen in the early hours of yesterday stormed the hospital in Aguata Council, area of Anambra State, snatching away 4 newborns. So they just walked into the hospital, took these 4 newborns, took the blood-soaked wrappers of the mothers, and disappeared. And they were telling the people, hospital attendants, that if they make noise, they will come back for them. And so they left. They also went ahead to call another hospital, threatening that if that person does not support, if that medical doctor does not support the Biafra project, they're going to come back and deal with them. So our investigation is ongoing now. The police has gotten wind of the story. They're trying to find out why.
Wow.
People are suspecting probably they're taking those newborn babies for ritualistic.
Please, so.
You don't need to
Yes.
say any other thing.
Man, anyways, wow, that's such a horrible story. The Chief of Defense Staff yesterday has assuring Nigerians that the armed forces will not betray public trust in their resolve to defend democracy. He says during the coming elections, they're training, their personnel to uphold human rights obligations during the operations and within global best practices. He says that the army is getting trainings and, so that during the elections they can carry out their duties, first to defend our democracy, and also that they would not fall pressure to any sort of inducements to betray our trust. They're insisting and they're committed to making sure that the elections will be free and fair. He says that usually inducements here and there that causes people to want to fall under pressure, but that they are being educated and they are being taught, and they are putting many measures in place to defend our democracy.
You see, that phrase, defend democracy, is such a powerful phrase that we need to reinforce it in everything we say, in our movies, in our music, in our conversations. Somebody must continually, subconsciously remind Nigerians that we must defend this democracy in every way.
And point out, and comedians might help out in pointing out how our actions is actually threatening our
the
democracy. And many people's action right now is threatening
that thing must enter your
democracy.
subconscious. It's such an important statement. Okay, let's now take statements. If you recall, Nigeria had signed an agreement with Germany on Siemens and how they can help us to boost our power supply. So, well, the Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar Aliyu, said yesterday that they will be receiving 10 mobile power transformers and also 10 mobile stations, substations actually, to be installed across the country. According to them, they're trying to achieve a national renewable energy and energy efficiency policy with a vision 30-30-30. What that means is that 30,000 megawatts by 2030, and the renewable and contributing 30% of the energy mix. So renewable energy contributes 30%. So that's a good vision, and I'm happy that once these transformers arrive, it will help boost electricity supply in our country. Okay, let's move on quickly now to the punch.
I have a story. Aregbesola,
right now.
Go ahead.
please, let me take the story of the APC. Osun APC for a long time had two factions. We had the faction in support of the previous governor, called the Osun Progressive Top. That's the Aregbesola's platform. And the immediate past governor, people supporting Adegboyega Oyetola. And now the former Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Najim Salam, has dissolved the ESCO of the Osun Progressive faction of APC, saying that they are willing to reconcile. They want proper reconciliation with the entire other party. And a statement by the spokesperson of the APC for the state, that's Kola Olabisi, has said that this is good news, that it's aligned with the mainstream platform, and it is courageous for the former speaker to dissolve the ESCOs of the previous group, and now with intentions to merge, and they are also willing. So the green light is on for a unified APC within Osun State.
Okay, moving quickly now to the Punch. Cash withdrawal, Emefiele insists on limits. Reps demand suspension. Reps also query NNPC, CBN, others over unaudited accounts. INEC plans voting centers for 2 million IDPs. LICC knocks federal government over worsening credit ratings. Okay, major headline.
The major headline. So we know that the CBN governor recently brought out a policy to limit daily cash withdrawals to just 20,000 naira and weekly withdrawals for individuals to just 100,000 naira. So he's been trying to defend that action because a lot of people are complaining that this is not going to work for a country like Nigeria, where about 80% of the people are in rural areas and they do cash businesses, all those small businesses. So he said that the Nigerian economy was overdue to be a cashless society, and the federal government has sufficiently invested in system infrastructure to enable this. And initially, this policy has been on since 2012, but they had to, on several occasions, about 4 times, suspend it because they were still struggling with the infrastructure. But that's 10 years ago now, and by now, Nigeria is ready to go cashless, and that's what they're trying to do, as well as the fact that we realize with this new currency that a lot of our money, about 80%, is outside the bank's vault. And so they're trying to mop up. They've collected over 1 trillion of cash returns back into the bank. And cashless society is just the best. But the House of Reps were not having it. They said that most of their constituents don't have access to, electronic money and stuff. And so they need it suspended. And it has to be suspended immediately because they're going on a break very soon. And if they wait till they meet with Emefiele, because he's supposed to have a meeting with them on Thursday, if they wait till then and he doesn't show up for that meeting, that means the policy will keep going. But so far, so good. I've been hearing that in banks, you can't even withdraw more than 100,000, yes.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. Yes.
Yes, LCCI, that's the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, has expressed concerns over Nigeria's deteriorating risk profile. This is because we've gotten some very negative. So Fitch downgraded Nigeria's long-term foreign currency debt issuer default rating from B to B minus. That's a few notches above junk status. Moody's downgrading of Nigeria's risk outlook, and then the Standard & Poor's placement of Nigeria's Euro bonds on the watch list. And the Director General of LCCI issued a statement. She says that the country may be heading towards deeper debt crisis, going by the government's revenue and expenditure framework for 2023. Anyway, just in response to the warnings from the global risk rating agencies, it's advising that our budget proposals should de-emphasize debt financing, issuing equity at home and abroad by inviting foreign investors to invest in state-owned companies, government real estate portfolio, and also to emphasize equity financing. So this is just an advice to, the government on how we can improve our debt profile and risk profile.
Another way, I think, one of the issues raised, which would also support how the foreign countries see us, is the issue of unaudited accounts. We have many agencies that don't audit their accounts, and the reps have queried NNPC, CBN, amongst others. The House of Representative Committee on Public Accounts has submitted its reports on ministers and departments and agencies of the federal government that did not submit audited reports for 8 years. In the past 8 years, the CBN, the NNPC, now NNPCL, Niger Delta Development Commission, the Revenue Mobilization and Allocation and Fiscal Commission, that's RAMFAC, and NDDC, all haven't submitted their audited reports in a long while. And in the report, they mentioned how the impact, yes, they said 8 years, about 8 years. Wow. The committee said that EFCC is a commission that is issuing warrants of arrest and all of that, and we don't have audited reports from these agencies. None of the outgoing CEO on regular companies would exit a company without proper audits of that company. And so these agencies, they are really the riot act. Let's just see it go beyond just...
How do we even get away with it?
Get them to really submit their audited reports.
Respond to it. Maybe they have a private auditing company. Just tell us something. All right, I was going to take a quick one. The INEC is saying that they're going to set up voting centers for over 2 million IDPs across 23 other states. I am living in Borno, Zamfara, Benue, Nasarawa, and other 23 states. According to the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, they said that it's important to show that these people are also the Nigerians, and because they've been displaced, and I think Governor Otom of Benue also reiterated this recently, that the fact that they've been displaced doesn't mean that they're not Nigerians, that they also should be given the right to vote. And so I'm happy that INEC is also considering that and will be providing voting centers for all the internally displaced persons in their various communities. Moving on quickly now to Vanguard. Petrol, DSS orders dealers.
Son.
Oh, son. Sorry, Mabi. Son, military resisting pressure to compromise election, says CDS. DSS gives oil marketers dealers 48 hours to end scarcity. Plateau workers declare 5-day warning strike over salaries. Rivers government alleges plots to blackmail Wike over G5 demands. Nigeria best place to invest in Africa, Osinbajo meets with Vietnam's president. Nigerians' religious lives not reflecting on state of corruption, says FCC. Reps direct suspension of new cash withdrawal limit policy. And 2023, thuggery, fake news threats to election, says REC.
Did anybody read that, religion and Nigeria?
Yes, I read it too. So EFCC is saying that the level of corruption in Nigeria is huge compared to how religious we are. The secretary for the commission, Judge Ekmungun, made a statement at the 4th National Youth and Student Annual Summit, and it was just lamenting the fact that he said, we have preached for many years, very similar to what Mariam said, I think it was 2 days ago, like we preached for many years, many Nigerians have religious affiliations. We are actually deceiving ourselves. And until what is preached in the mosque and churches are reflected in our lives, we are just beating about the bush. It's important that Nigerians change their attitude towards crime, even as in this is reiterating the campaign towards the young people, and it's just really sad. They said that Nigerians are insincere in our religious exploits.
You touch me.
You know, I've heard this thing so many times, it doesn't faze me anymore. I'm tired of the talk. We hear it. It's how we're going to fix it. That's
how are we going to fix it?
Do
you know, let me tell you one of the things I think about. I feel like we should just ship everyone out of Nigeria, and then we'll now be bringing in one by one. It's like, how many sins, how many crimes have you committed? You know, because I don't know how we're going to do it. It will take a miracle.
But we need to keep pointing it out because sometimes
we've gotten so used to pointing it out that now it's not a culture of just talking and condemning and yabbing and we just say
and then we go back and
exactly. So I'm just it's like it just falls off whenever I hear
We'll
it now.
condemn I'll condemn Mariah's own while I'm doing my own. Mine is different.
Yes.
So Mariah's own is so bad. Mariah will see my own.
Yeah.
We'll just never see our
So
own.
yeah, I'm just like, well, okay, let's find another story.
So, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. And,
Stakeholders in the petrol distribution chain got a matching order yesterday from the Department of State Services and that they must end the lingering petrol scarcity in 2 days. And if they fail, appropriate action will be taken against them. So the DSS spokesman, Dr. Peter Afom-Nanya, was the one who handed this 48-hour ultimatum. He said that the agency had decided to wade into this petrol distribution issue so that Nigerians can come out of it. And he says that we have been buying petrol for 165 to 170 liter. The petrol stations have been selling above 160 to 175 liter, especially at the filling stations owned by Ipman. And so Ipman responded saying that they are not able to get Forex at the official rate. They are sourcing from black market. Meanwhile, Moman, which is the Major Marketers Association of Nigeria, who is their counterpart, is getting official rate. So they will be out of business if they sell 160 to 175. But DSS is saying that we are going to clamp down on any filling station we catch, and this is going to be very, very serious. So I don't know how they are going to help their case. Can they make Forex available for them? Because the NNPC, on the other hand, is saying that they have enough fuel to last us through this Yuletide.
and talk about that story yesterday now.
Yes.
The enough is on the high seas.
To transport it out.
It's a different matter. So
Anyway, some good news.
hallelujah.
Please.
Special Forces of the Nigerian Army. So they have been, launching this consistent offensive against bandits, especially in Giwa local government area of Kaduna State. And the good news is that 9 bandits have been neutralized. Army talk is they have finished them, and then cleared some camps. They were able to rescue women and children that had been abducted by these people, and this is something that they are constantly doing. The governor of Kaduna State has praised their consistent efforts, and we're hoping to see much more and more successful feats like this. So well done to the Nigerian Army.
Well done to the Nigerian.
We have to wrap up. There's no more time for paper review. That's all we can take. When we come back, move on to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So it's the festive season, and many families are just in that let loose mode and having fun, going to parties. Some of these activities surround dressing up our kids, making them look pretty, and having photo shoots and going for events. But how far is too far? Because we saw a video recently of a little girl. Was a graduation ceremony, and she was dolled up. She had on lashes, she had on nails, colors, had on makeup. And you're thinking to yourself, it's a festive season. Yes, we know lots of parents would like to let loose, but how far should we go in decorating our children, the boys and the girls? What do you think is okay for a parent to do, and what do you think is not okay, especially when you see that many people come up with this lovely concept. They come, want to do a photo shoot for a girl, for a little baby girl, and the photographer is coming up with all sort of nice, let's do some hair, put some makeup here. And then when my child wanted to do a 10th birthday this year, the makeup art, the photographer said, let's put some powder. I said, no. Let's do this. I said, no. She's 10 years old. And he goes, let's add a few things. I said, but when he now finished the photographer, because I didn't allow him to do anything. When he now finished, he now did that thing, he did the brushing. Now Photoshop to make her look so airbrushing, to clean her up so much. Like, sir,
this is not my daughter.
This thing, back to normal. This is not my child. This is somebody else, But there's that pressure societal pressure to let your child look a certain way. Do you think parents are taking it too far? Do you think we should let some happen? You know, let's allow it. What do you think? Let me start with you, BC.
So I'm beginning to realize that people have different ideas on how to raise their children. And I try not to be very judgmental if it doesn't sit well with my own values. You know, just try and understand it from your own perspective. But in everything, there's something I always say, let it be moderate, modesty. Let it be within the confines of a bit normal. Just try what you can, you know, and that modesty can be subjected to different interpretations.
Yeah.
But however you satisfy your conscience that I'm not pushing my children out into the world so fast, that's okay for you, as long as you're comfortable with it. Because I've seen children who have been raised to do whatever they like and all that, and the other children that have been, you know, stifled, sort of, you don't allow them do this and do that. I've seen them turn out, and I've seen those ones that we think will turn out bad actually have good morals, actually have a better way to relate with people, actually understand. So they are usually, like when I went into the university, we had children who were allowed to have parties, you know, do this, do that. They have had it with their parents. It wasn't strange to them when they got into the university. They knew their boundaries. But people like us that were caged, so to speak, we got there and we're like, wow!
Free at last.
So I can
Thank
actually
God
go out
Almighty.
and come
I
back
am free
late.
at last.
I can sleep out. Nobody's going to ask me.
Imagine
It
that.
took the grace of God to bring me back. And I told myself that I was not going to raise my children not to experience some things. I will guide them so that we experience it wholly to the best of my ability.
Okay, let me
Wait, so let me tell you what I do. Sorry. My kids like to, for makeup, I said, no, till you're out of secondary school. I won't allow that. For birthdays, anything, they will not wear anything on their face. Just use your gloss. We have gloss we use together, and that's it. But during the holidays, we paint our nails. No artificials. We just paint our nails when we're traveling. You know, for me, it's a bonding time. So I paint theirs, they paint mine, or go to the salon, we do it together. And we are all acting, we are girls now, and all that. I just do it my way. And I feel, okay, it's my way.
I used to get spanked for that as a child, you know, when I tried, and I'll come back to that because things have evolved. So how do we know how far we should go? So you've done that. If I did as a kid, I would be in serious trouble. I've given you the story
Even
where
me.
I did braids all the way to my butt, and I was feeling fly. My auntie, Miss Alicia, just, are you okay? She said, so how far can we go?
So
Wanna go?
for me, I think that everyone would, based on their exposure, create the boundaries for their children that based on what they know, you know. But platforms like this help us to give more information to all parents out there without judging anybody for what they've done in the past, but letting them understand the impact going forward. We are not allowing our children be children. Children should be children. Carefree, play, have fun. They are going to deal with the pressures of all this makeup later, but let them just be children. One, as adults, many adults are struggling with identity. They call it the identity crisis, body dysphoria or something. Like they don't understand dysmorphia. And people feel like this is not my real face, or this is my real face. I like my face more when I do A, B, C, D, because that's how they see other people's faces look. When you are a child is where you know yourself and you fall in love with yourself. So it's important that we let children see their own natural beauty as beautiful. Not that a child is 6 years old and you're already making her feel like if she doesn't have makeup, she's not pretty, or she starts getting compliments for wearing makeup as a young child.
Fantastic.
You know, so I loved makeup growing up already, but I am grateful to God that my parents sort of compelled me not to. The biggest punishment my mom could give me was to cut my hair. Like, you can beat me till tomorrow, but you cut my hair, you have deflated every sense of fashion and style that I had, because my hair was like my crowning glory. So I think that for parents, it is important. The reason we're saying don't expose too much makeup to children is they would see makeup tire. Do you see how a lot of our teenagers now, and people in their 20s are doing body surgeries that are making permanent changes to themselves.
But
These things stem from our desire to fit in to what people see as beautiful. Let us begin to see, let us raise our children to see themselves
I'll
as
respond to that
beautiful.
in a minute. Let me go let Mariam go first. Go
So
ahead, Mariam.
anytime we talk about this topic, I always remember growing up, and my mom had this magic lipstick. I don't know if you guys remember it. It was green, and then when you put it on your lip, it would turn red. And I will hide to put it. And every time she catches me, she'll ask me to take that Puma stone, that stone that you use to scrub my lips.
Jesus.
Because she has warned me not to do it, to scrub my lips. So it's like a reminder that you shouldn't. And she used to always tell me, and my mom would sit down and be like, oh, I cannot wait for when you get into your 20s. You're going to do this, going to do this. I can't wait for when you get into your 30s. So it was something to look forward to. It was not like you should not do it ever at all, but wait for the time. So that encourages me. I love what you said about letting children be children. We're influenced a lot by social media. So we watch people who are doing like they're putting on social media their photo shoots. Or we're watching children of entertainers. You know, they dress their children up a certain way. Or we're watching entertainers themselves. We forget that it's a business for them. It's a craft. It's an image that they're trying to, you know, project to sell their business. And then we carry it and then we put it on our own children, everyday children. I think we should allow children run around, you know, without shirts and just be excited about who they are and love who they are. You see all these filters? We, even us as adults, we now struggle with it, that when you see your own natural face, you're like, oh, who is that? Because we're used to, the phone had, you know, filtered everything, taking away blemishes and wrinkles, and you're wondering who this person is. And if we as adults are struggling with that, imagine what you're doing to a child who has learned that you should add and add on top of what you have before you can be seen as beautiful. I think children should be allowed to be children. I think that and in allowing them is to teach them the value of their natural beauty. When I have like young staff members, girls, when they do just their cornrows, right? You see that 20-something-year-old girl, beautiful, natural beauty shining through, fresh face. I'm like, how do you see this person and think that wearing this wig that I am wearing with, you know, it just ages you by 10, 20 years. See, you would never be 21 again. You would never be 22. Enjoy it. You would look back many years later and you appreciate the fact that you enjoyed your natural beauty before you needed all the add-ons to look better.
So, based on what Tokwe said earlier, I think the opposite happened to me. I've been doing photo shoots when I was a baby. My first birthday, my mother would show me, even my 5th birthday. So makeup, she put gloss on my lips. She really dulled me because I was her only girl. I came 12 years after her last child. And at that time, she had money. At least before, she was still depending on my dad. When I came, my mother had money. So she was spoiling me like a doll. I had frocks on. I had 8-year-old birthday shoot, 9-year-old birthday shoot. I had a photo shoot. You know, and there was so much on me as a child that when I grew up, I hated fashion. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to dress up. I didn't want to dress up. I didn't like makeup. Because the only memory I had, and I never knew. So it can be counterproductive where you doll up a child so much and you make her feel like you have to look this way. You have to look this way. After a while, a child like when I had my free at last moment, I'm in the US. I mean that free at last.
Yes. You were tomboyish.
I was tomboy to the core.
Yes.
I didn't want to do any hair. I didn't want to. Nobody should touch me. I'm fine. You know. So it could be counterproductive.
Yes, it is usually counterproductive. So let me tell you what happened in secondary school. You know, some of us bloomed very late. Secondary school, I had nothing, no front, no back, nothing. I was langa. In fact, my nickname in school was I. That's what they called me. Yes. I was dark, nothing. Like, I didn't even have any toaster. You know, Valentine's, when secondary school students would be getting cards and cakes and all that, nobody really looked in my direction. Yes. And I was sort of in that space, no makeup, nothing. My father would not allow it. So, those girls were already used to doing makeup, and so I see them, I admire them. Everybody is drooling after them, and I'd be feeling bad for myself. But I was a tomboy. I'll play my thing and go. When we finished secondary school,
and babe showed up.
And we met, I saw most of those students, they were already looking old and fagged out. By the time we got to the university, I'm telling you, it was worse. You would see them looking very scruffy on campus, just where they were just... And that was when I was getting into my prime. That was when I was exploring makeup. I was blooming. The difference was just so much. So I used to advise, I have a 13-year-old who wants to do all of those things. I used to tell her, I said, don't be in a hurry. you will have enough time to do this. And when you do it, you will do it well because now you have better things to play with. If you are stealing my things to do this, it's not necessary. So Shikuku knows that she's not allowed to wear makeup in my house, no matter how tall she becomes tomorrow, till she leaves secondary school. Just my way of preserving that innocence. She already has a big body. So if you see the face with makeup again, it will be worse for her. Yeah. So let them see your face and see that you are a baby, even with your big body. So it's actually counterproductive. And what I advise people is, try to let your children know there's time for everything. That's the conversation that I have. Sometimes they will come up with different things they want to do.
Excuses that it's a festive season. It's just, you know, during the school days, we don't let them do normal hair. But it's holidays, you know, let us just relax. Don't you think? But should we find, how do you
find the balance? And you know, one thing is that, especially for me, that I grew up in Jos, and I know the conservativeness of there, and then being here in Lagos, and realize, and there are different cultures. But people do things here that's different from there. And it's not like they're bad people. It's just different exposure, different culture, different things that you see. So here, you may take a colored attachment for your daughter, and then you go somewhere else and they're looking at like, how dare you? Can you imagine what she put on her hair? So there's also that we're constantly battling with. So as a mother, you would have to make sure that you concentrate on what is healthy for your child. So it's not about the way she looks, it's also about the confidence you want to build in her. And I believe strongly that the base for a child's confidence, especially about her looks, should be about teaching her to accept her personal and her natural beauty. Oh, you're beautifully dark skinned. I love the way it glows like, you know, black pearls. I love your smile. I love your white teeth. I love the, you know, there's something that our children are also struggling with. A lot of our children are watching cartoons, and they're like, my hair.
So silky,
yes, my hair is different. So we have to also encourage that.
To love their hair.
Yes, to love their hair. So I feel that as long as you're encouraging them, then I tell them, Mommy needs help now. Mommy's not young and fresh-faced like you, so Mommy needs help, you know. And when you get to that age, you know, you can also...
So what of these things is a sign of wealth? I see a lot of celebrities who are rich, they have the money. It's a sign of, listen, I suffered. I mean, when I was growing up, I was langa. I was one. I don't want to be like that. I want my children to feel like, listen, we have something. And I want them to feel confident because they are not Nigerian children. This girl was born in America. I'm raising her in Nigeria, but very soon she's going to go meet her counterparts in America where they wear their hair. Normally, they blow it out. They wear makeup, you know. So I don't want her to have that Nigerian mentality of, okay, no makeup. Because her counterparts living in the US or the UK, wherever, they use makeup and they have that freedom. So that's the child I'm raising. I'm not raising her for the Nigerian society. I'm raising her for the abroad society. There are parents like that.
No, and some people have children who have done a few years academically in other countries where it's totally different. I had a friend whose kids were in New York, and when we go and pick up the kids from school, you'll be wondering, what school are we in again?
Wow.
Guys are weaving their hair. I'm talking 9-year-olds weaving their hair, dyeing their hair. That was the norm. It was Queens. And the school there, you can weave your hair as a guy. And it's normal. You can dye your hair.
And do your
it's
hair,
normal.
nails,
colors, everything normal for a 9-year-old. And here is my African mother syndrome, trying to understand. As in, the girl struggled because she had parents who didn't want her to look like them. So she was there and feeling like, I'm weird. Everybody else is wearing colored hair and looking all glam, and I'm just looking plain. So I think it's important that we also, we also help them in that circumstance. I am already ready to know that my kids might weave their hair because they like it so much. And I have boys. And I know that if my boys weave their hair, it doesn't mean they are evil people because in some parts of the world, weaving hair as a man is a norm. So there are some areas of our identity that we can relax on.
So that's
and
where,
there's some areas, so it's to find, it's for us to find that, what can you give?
The conversation, so I'm going to go on a break. I want us to remember that there's the African mentality we have, which we have. But these children we were birthing, they are being birthed into a new world that see things differently. So what you makeup is for you is like a big deal. But abroad, it's like it doesn't take away from who they are. But it's like, it's who you are. You know how this American stuff. It's your person, who you are in your heart. Your heart. You know, be your authentic self. You know, they come with all this phrasing. And you're thinking the child is not confused that my mother said I shouldn't wear this thing. But let's go on a break. Let me come back. We'll continue the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing this matter of parenting and the fact that our culture, belief system will clash with modernity, whether we like it or not. As we're giving birth to children, many of us, I can say, a good chunk of middle-class families are raising their kids, hopefully to one day move to other countries to further their education. And when they do that, that rigidity, I would say, of our own culture may clash with the liberal lifestyle abroad. But how, therefore, as Africans, as we raise our kids into this new world, how do we balance the cultures? How do we ensure that what we're raising our kids with doesn't retains or is sustained through their lives?
So I think we should not raise our kids the way our parents raised us, where they just make the laws and insist, and you must follow or you will disown you and all that. It doesn't work anymore. It hasn't worked for us as adults. Sometimes we fail, and then we just had to somehow, by the grace of God, find our way back. It's not working now. These children are upgraded children. They come factory fitted already, fit into the world. They are not, even science has even proven that if you check the DNAs, they are different. We're birthing the new generation, and they thrive on logic and conversation. So before you make all those laws, don't weave your hair, yeah, boy, don't do this. Find out what they want. Find out the conversations they've heard from school. Find out how it makes them feel. Now, logically present it to them how you want it to be, following the timelines that you give them, and give them things to look forward to. It must be a logical conversation. You will hear kids saying, I want to color my hair wine, or I want to color my hair gold. And you say, don't. And they're just waiting for you. Maybe when I leave your house, I'll go and do my own thing. We want to know our children. Most of our parents, hold on, they didn't know us.
Wait. But some people will choose to be the one to introduce to their child first. Before any friend tells you outside, what color. I would define to you that coloring your hair, for example, means that you're a mad person. Wearing baggy jeans, you know, I'm just telling you what parents are doing. That let me, at the age of 4, 5, I'm already making that definition. So in your head, your mindset is already in a certain way. So your friend in school cannot tell you at the age of 10 that, oh, coloring is good, because I already told you in the house.
You've told me in the house, yes. But do you know if I admire it? You have told me, you have said your own, but
okay,
you
so
know
if
what
you
goes on in
admire
my head.
What then?
No, so if that child admires it, that's when you now have. But first of all, you need to find out if they admire. There are some kids you have a conversation with, and
we are molding these children. We are molding now.
You are molding not in isolation. Don't you have conversations with your children?
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say. So in that conversation, find out where their mind is. There are sometimes you have conversations with your children and they are not even reasoning in that space.
Wait, Tabula Rasa says we are the ones feeding them. Which where would they? But where would they get that mind from?
I'm trying to. What I understand is, yes, we should have conversations, but it's still not a guarantee that your child will do exactly what you say.
Yeah.
So even parenting where it is a lot more liberal, you are sitting, we're having conversations, you're actually saying that you're giving that child the right to say to you, you know what, Mommy, I've heard you, but I think I want to do it my way. I'm just saying.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, no.
So
okay,
I'm just saying that to understand where the child's mind is.
And I'm saying which you are in.
No. I'm saying this sort of parenting where we talk with our children, we also leave room for our children to tell us their thoughts,
how they feel,
and what they want to do and how they want to do it. But there are no guarantees, however, especially when it comes to things like that, because we're influenced by many things. I always say here, I have children with 2 different personalities. I have a child that would rather make their mistakes that is the child that I have, and that's the child I'm trying to raise. And so what I'm doing is, as much as possible, while I still have that control fully, I'm laying down the basic rules.
Yeah.
Ground rules.
So whenever you decide that, okay, now I'm old enough to go and do my thing, you are going off from here, from where this foundation that I have laid. You're not just going off from everything that's happening. And I just hope that what I'm laying right now will be able to hold you back and pull you back.
I like that.
That's
So if you
where-
color your hair blue, it's not because of peer pressure. It's because, mommy, I actually like blue. And I want to look. So it's from the baseline, you have confidence in yourself. I want my hair blue because I
That's
just
what we're
like
saying.
the color
But
blue.
Can we
you
go
first
back
of all
to-
find out where that child's mind is. Don't
Let me go on a
assume
break.
that because you are mommy Gio,
Let me take
your
this
children
call.
will follow you in that line.
Okay, let me take this call. I'll come to you, Tokwe. Hassan, you've been holding for a while. Sorry about that.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead.
Why are you women arguing over this small thing? I mean, Haba, you see, let me tell you one thing. Please, dress your children moderately. Let them be humble right from childhood. The way I see makeup, my definition of makeup is this. Makeups are for the people who could not make it. Because that is how it is. Even in America, you don't raise your children to class struggle. No. Raise your children to be confident. It is not about this makeup we are all looking around
right.
about.
Hassan, let me pause you. Hassan, let me pause. Let me engage you for a minute. So, when you say you raise your children, dress them moderately. Let's define moderation. So, for example, a young child grows up in Florida that doesn't snow, for example, and she's raised to wear a tank top and bomb shorts. Now, it's a normal thing because their weather is hot. Now, so this young girl, she's a full-figured, slightly full-figured, so she has all the bumps, but she's wearing a tank top and bomb shorts. It's not a big. Nobody looks at her sexually because it's in Florida.
a culture.
It's a culture. Now, so you're Nigerian. She comes home to Nigeria and she's on holidays and she wears her t-shirt and her tank top and bomb shorts, and so yours is equally hot here. And suddenly we're saying, auntie, you can't dress like that. So what therefore is moderation?
You see, when you talk of Florida, that's why it's conditional. It's conditional. Everybody does it over there. Look, even in UK and America, you see, the white likes you to be natural. They don't even like you speaking like their own intonation. They want you to speak like Nigerian, like a black man. If you speak like them, they see you as fake. That is the reality of it. And number two, about this religion matter, the man from EFCC said about both Muslim and Christian in Nigeria, majority of us are hypocrites. They are hypocrites. What they say is different from what we do. So you just have to shine your eye very well. Our Muslim brothers, our Christians, all of them, that is how we are. That is how we
Right. Thank you very much, Hassan.
So I want to go back. I want us to talk about what shapes our children. And it's shocking how much my 10-year-olds are learning from their peers in class. A lot. A lot. They have conversation. They want to be accepted in their class. And those conversations is influencing how they are asking questions and what their demands are at home. So they complain, but we're not the only ones that shape them. There's information being collected from different sources. And I don't think that as parents, we're spending enough time with the children to be able to drown out all the other ones that come in. So our parenting is a combination of you pray, you model, because they are watching you. So you need to be doing what you're saying so that it reinforces what you are saying. So you tell them, don't do this, but you also are doing what you say they should do. So that's modeling and saying reinforces, so it's like a double message. Then you also need to listen. And a lot of parents don't listen. We feel like we know it all, we have lived the life, and we should be able to tell them what to do. But after a while, they will stop listening to you. You need to learn, as parents, we need to listen to them. You know, we're talking right now about the world we're living is changing, and that's the reality. The world we're living has changed.
It has changed.
And our
Why
children
shouldn't you allow your little girl to paint her nails and to do her fixing? Because the world because she's not being judged by
Based
that.
on those things
she's
anymore.
being judged by the content of our character, right? So why don't we ever allow our kids to do whatever
So
they want to do?
you know that before our gadgets are like a no-no to parents, to our children.
Right.
But over time, our kids are born and they understand every
Yeah.
gadget even more than us.
Right.
There are parts of us that would evolve, and that's a norm. You cannot stop it.
Right.
But there are parts of us that is what makes us human. It's our character, it's our values,
pause for a
it's
second?
our
I
sense of self. And those things, we must keep reiterating it. And I always tell children, you cannot ask my children that you cannot be like everybody. You cannot say because you want to be accepted that you will follow everybody's trend. You must be comfortable with being
Let me
different.
pause for a second. Alhaji has been holding for a while. Alhaji Babatunde from Ikotun. Sorry for keeping you, sir. Good morning.
No problem, no problem. I also enjoy this subsequent
Thank you.
conversation.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Can I go on?
You're
Can I
live.
speak?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, in fact, Doctor almost said what I wanted to contribute. He says that we should listen to them and try to. I'm talking about our children now, and try to adopt, let them know the environment. I'll share an experience with you, my lady, briefly. My uncle came to Christmas about just before the COVID with our children, with their children. Then we went to Jebu for the Christmas. One of them, wore that thing you described. I don't know, some
Tank top and bomb shots.
Yes. And then I didn't even notice. My wife and their mom went out just to go and see the town, and then before they came, I just had somebody our house to tell me that one of the lady was crying in her room. I said, "What's this?" So I went in. I said, "What is the problem?" He said, "One of our relations that came around to greet us embarrassed her." I said, "What happened?" She was just crying, and I came out to meet that one. What happened? He said that she came out and they was very busy, and then she said, "How to be like?"
Who's to be like?
So yes, meaning that something strange, something very bad.
God forbid,
you know.
yeah.
So I cautioned her, and I had to go into appeal to her. And then when her mom came back, I told her that look, sometimes this is over there is normal, but when you are coming home, with them, try and tell them the environment and things like that.
Yeah.
So that was just.
Thank you, Alhaji Babatunde. So that's one of the clashes. That's even easier to tell your child you're going to Nigeria now. Here you can't wear your bomb shots and everything. But how do we raise our kids to have that balance? Because sometimes I think Dr. has said sometimes that we just ship our children out, forgetting to help manage their mindsets, how they settle in, how they're accepted or not accepted, how they blend in, how they balance what they've been taught at home to what they're being taught in the new schools. These are some of those
You take
cultures.
Nigerian boys to the beach and they see people in bikini and they're like staring.
And they're looking.
They've never seen somebody wear bikini before. They're just looking.
Yes.
People are wearing bikini everywhere.
And then they'll go, oh, really? I can wear bikini at the age of...
And it's okay to have that reaction because it's exposure that builds you.
Yeah.
So if you have lived in your Nigeria all your life, or if you've lived even in a particular place in Nigeria all your life, that's what you would know. That's why people who tend to move out of their comfort zone, have different kinds of relationships, different parts of the world, you just see that there's a different exposure and appreciation of other people's cultures. So you find someone who's been everywhere is not insisting on dressing the way they dress in your own vicinity. They recognize, okay, I'm here for this time, and it involves allowing children to see all that. But I feel that our children are quite exposed and are more aware, because the difference is they have just a lot of information. There's TV, there's social media, there's just so much that they're learning. But I wanted to go to this part where we have not discussed, which is schools. What kind of school would you prefer for your child? Is it a school that insists on being conservative? There was a letter that was sent to us recently from my son's school, and he says that please, there was an event, but please don't dress your children in shorts, in see-through shirts, and, some sort of hairstyles. I mean that, and I thought that they had to tell us. Mothers, they had to tell us, because there's just a new way that we're doing things. We are raising our children really to say, it's the content of your character that matters. This does not really matter, but I feel that it's important to just allow them be children, have that basic, just have that basic thing where look a certain way. Be conservative. Start off from that point of no makeup, no some sort of dressing, and then as you grow older, you make your choice.
We're going to break. When we come, we'll continue our conversation because there are still parents that said, taking your kids in first class, this is normal to them. You see, this is what we're talking about and discussing. Some people, it's not a big deal. We are the ones that...
Somebody just bought a villa for somebody for 30 years.
It's like we're making it an issue because it seems against what we know. But there's a level you get to that your child calling here and doing nails and it's not a big deal. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Lush hair, be beautiful.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing these children we're raising into this new world and if indeed our cultural practices, how it clashes with the new world they're being raised into. Yeah.
Okay, so I would just like to add that in all we do, let's raise our children to be good human beings.
Amen.
Let's raise them in love and family support.
Amen.
All the people I know who have gone astray and were able to came back because there was this strong family support. Like the scripture says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he grows, he will not depart from it. Let's, in our own homes, set up those foundations, those ground rules that guides the family culture, because you don't know where they are going to. I have a daughter now who says she will likely marry an Asian. She loves, when she watches all those, Korean movies, she loves them. So if peradventure she leaves the country, she may not want to marry a Nigerian. But what am I doing? I'm trying as much as possible to set her up in a system where she understands that no matter what, there's love for you here. This place is love. And you must be a good human being. You must be able to interact with people well, respect people, however it is. You will be all right. And just hope, because our scorecard never come out. We are parents now. We don't know how our children are doing. We're just hoping and praying and doing all that we can. But once we focus on ensuring that these children are raised in love, I think they'll find their way back.
I think it's a good way to wrap this topic up because when you were talking, I remembered Dereliadu, and Dereliadu is a special human being. He's different from the usual, and he's talked about how the kind of family support he had from his mom and dad and siblings. How without that support system, he probably would have, the society would have crumbled him. Society we live in here would have totally crushed him because there were forces against his lifestyle, how he does things, everything. But he said it, and there was a post I saw, I think it was maybe recently, not so long ago, where he was praising his family, his parents. So that family support, so when you raise your child to be a good person, regardless of whatever choices they make as they grow up, if you like color your hair yellow, come back and say that now you like this thing, you don't do this anymore. Because you have your family.
So regardless of your liberal morality or your conservative morality, as you said it yesterday.
Regardless of that, the fact that you have that baseline foundation from your family that is solid. So whatever choice, and you as a parent, you don't hurt yourself or beat yourself up because the child made these choices.
You have failed.
You've done the baseline. You've given the foundation. Whatever choices, therefore, they make.
But do you know that this guy is a very, very intelligent,
of course.
A soft-hearted, kind human being. If he walks into a place, no matter how gloomy you are, he will bring lights up the place.
And that's a gift.
But another thing is, parents, you need to be preparing yourself. That stage where you know that you cannot be the parent. You can only be an advisor.
And you can decide not to follow what you have said. Yes, I have had, and now as a parent, I feel for my mom and how my parents would have felt, because I've had conversations, they've had conversations with me as a young person, advising me, and I blatantly refused. I didn't do what they said. What they told me was a good decision. I regret not following them, but I cannot imagine how they would have felt. Like,
At the
gosh,
time.
I must have broken their hearts. And I'm looking at my 3 children and say, hey, Otokwe, Jesus is your strength because you
But here you are today. You learned from it.
Yes,
Yeah, so I think we
did.
can wrap up with that. And listen, as we started off, I've shared my own story, how I was so dolled up as a child, and then I grew up hating fashion. I grew up hating all the attention. I just didn't want to. I wanted to be a tomboy. So sometimes we do so much to please these children. Let's try not to go the extreme and find a balance in everything. Yes, they look pretty, but don't take it too much to the left. Always find a balance in raising them, no matter how wealthy
You are.
you are.
Don't put lashes on them. It takes away their natural lashes. I've been trying to groom mine. I don't wear lashes.
Okay, that's all we can take on this interesting topic. When we come back, we're bringing our celebrity guest, and hopefully we'll have a different topic with her. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have with us a Nigerian actress, film producer, model, and television personality, the beautiful, gorgeous Yvonne Jegede in the building. It's good to have you, girl. How you doing?
Fine.
Good to have you. So before we get into your interview about yourself, what you're working on, there's a topic that we're going to be talking about. I would just like to also get you to join. So we saw a tweet by Onyi Consola Alabi at Motions Doctor. She put a tweet out saying that women have been sentenced to the war room for years to pray for cheating men. But the moment a man catch his wife cheating, he will divorce her or send her packing. Can't he pray too? Can't he bind the demons that want to destroy his own home? Or has God also stopped hating divorce? So somebody now replied, I think at TK Kosh, says that there's no big deal. I'm currently still married to my wife who cheated on me twice. The question is, do I still love her? And the answer is yes. Everything will be prayer. So we're discussing this issue of war room. Because many women, oh goodness, trust me, there's no way you hate. Go, Ryo, you must go to the war room. You must go to everybody's war room. I feel that when the movie came out, oh my goodness, it was every Tom, Dick, and Harry was referencing the war room. And we're thinking, okay, do you think men too should begin to enter the war room when they find out that their wives have stepped out? Should they just say, call family meeting as they usually do and say, no, I'm done with this living, get out of my house? Or they should go and enter war room and pray against the demons that want to remove their wives from them. Let me start with you, BC. Why are you laughing?
The tides have always been against women in our culture because it's a patriarchy. And so you wouldn't blame a woman who chooses to. I don't believe somebody sentenced you, but you weigh your options. You know that you cannot live without this man. You have children. You have bills to pay. If peradventure you leave, you're not independent enough to be able to take care of them. So the only thing you can resort to is the war room. To ask, whoever or however to help you secure this your husband. And the fact that there's a prize on getting a man, being a married woman, the way the society has made it that no matter how successful you are as a woman, if there's no man, they call it a covering over your head. Even a bike man will insult you when they don't see any ring on your finger. So I wouldn't blame women who resort to doing this to protect their men. Men have always gotten away with bad behavior because it's their time, it's their world. It's patriarchy, it's a man's world. So they don't need to go to the war room because they can easily replace you and society will not crucify them for that. But you cannot easily replace him. Society will crucify you.
But to uphold a moral society, we discussed it yesterday, we're trying to see how we can project morality. Maybe if our men start entering the war room, because the truth is that we are hearing that more women are cheating. In fact, they're better at it. They're so good at it, where they keep it so discreet. So maybe when you suspect that your wife is stepping out, instead of you raising down the wall and telling the whole family or trying to make a fuss, can men begin to consider entering the war room so that their wives can come back home?
You know what? When it comes to this cheating matter in homes, I feel that men go through these same issues too. They know they have their issues where their wives are cheating on them. But unlike women, men do not get the public sympathy of, saying that my wife has been cheating on me. Instead, you get ridiculed. So men are usually, it's better if it happens in secret. They can handle it with that person in secret. But the moment it goes out, so that, to prove to the world that, yes, I am the man in this house and nobody can do nonsense and get away with it. But for a lot of them, if it's something that has happened quietly and they resolve it, they go in. Women, yes, as you're right, many times we're looking at the way marriages are structured in Africa, where bills and everything, the husband is the one that brings in the money. But modern times, we have families where it's 50-50. Both partners are bringing in something. So that, for many people now, that leverage that the man used to have, which is, I won't give you this, I won't give... If the woman leaves, she can go on to live in her own beautiful house, do the sort of things that she even likes to do without you. So what I feel that men are doing now is, see, let's discuss our thing quietly here. The world does not need to know. And then we move on.
I like that part. I'll come to you, Yvonne, now. Okay. Because I like that part she just said. A lot of women are making more money today.
Yes.
In fact, it is in the man's interest to enter war room. Because if she goes, your ashiri will too, as in everybody will pay, you're not the one that you don't have money. Yeah. You're not working. She has Boyola Shiri right now because she's the... I mean, how do you say in English? Auntie, give me the English word. She has covered... Oh, yeah, Yoruba? Oh, sorry.
She understands.
She has covered your secrets because she's the one, she's the breadwinner. Everybody thinks you own the house. But if she leaves, everybody knows that you ain't got shishi. So it is in your interest
to enter the
war room. And this woman, please, stop, don't cheat on me. Don't go, don't trash me. Don't you think so?
Well, my own take is, I'm sorry, I have a cold.
Oh,
so,
sorry.
My own take on this issue of cheating is that I think why men don't tolerate women cheating is because they don't have a big heart. Women have bigger hearts. We can tolerate, we can forgive, even with, our day-to-day people we come across and stuff like that. Women are nurturers, so that mother instinct a lot of times helps us contain certain situations that we find ourselves in. So for the men that can't take it, like you said, if you find out and it's in secret, then you guys can manage it. But in cases when it comes out like that, I think first of all, it's just because of men are like children. I don't know, they've said that thing 1,000 times. I never used to believe it so much.
Until you enter it.
Until I entered it and until I got a lot older. And then I see some people that I probably have a relationship with, and I go home and I see Xavier and I'm like,
what's the difference?
What's the difference? What's the difference? So I think they really don't grow.
Yeah.
That's my own. Because I see my son throw tantrums and I'm like, this is the same thing this man
was just doing. So, I got, even yesterday, I was driving. I say, should I turn right? And I'm thinking, yeah. Should I go left? Yeah. You go here we pass it. Go anywhere. She can turn right.
So the children are hard.
I think that's why women can.
So, what are your thoughts on this?
I think that we need to have more men praying for their marriages.
Yeah, I agree with
you. And I think that culturally we don't see it as, it's not seen as a normal thing. It is expected, they put such burden that for the home to work, it's a woman. A woman keeps the home. What does a man do? Does he break the home?
He provides.
Who would benefit from a good home? Both parties. Actually, most men will say, I just want peace. Well, pray for the peace.
Absolutely.
Pray for your wife. Your wife is happy, you would have peace. Your home works out, you would have peace. In most cases, when you go to churches or prayer events that are spiritual, there are times where they will raise prayer points for the women to pray for their home. We don't have enough of that where you say a man should pray for the home. Yeah. A man is praying for the wife. A man is praying for the children. And a few men are doing it. Amazing. Thumbs up to you. But we need to make it go viral. You know, you are on social media, you see War Room, and it is organized by women for women. We don't see Men's Room, and it's a prayer platform organized for men to pray for the family. Do you know if men take their role as men,
fantastic.
the country will change.
Ja, 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 ja.
The world will change.
Absolutely.
But we are having a lot of men being pampered,
Nonchalant.
you know, nurtured, taken care of, and you don't see that you are a man. Man up, stand up, be the man.
yeah.
Take hold of your home and make your family work. Raise your children. Don't blame your children. Say, "Omo to ba that ti mama e, ti baba e ni. Omo to ba that ti ye." That means if a child turns out good, it's for the father. A bad child, there shouldn't be any bad child. The only reason we're having bad children is because the men are not taking and sitting up. So make your own war room.
Thank you, Sokwe, because as laughable as a tweet might be, it's actually an important clarion call to men to actually do go to the war room. So men should start creating war rooms. You know, it could be in your office space. It could be in your, you could find a private place. But the idea is that you're the priest
Over
of
your
the home.
home.
Even in the Muslim, get the imam in your house.
Yes.
Because I think Nima always said her father was very, very strong.
Massive.
Was a massive influence in her Islamic lifestyle because he instilled in her. So she could decipher what the external imam is telling her versus what her father is teaching her.
father
And she's
was
able
the
to
imam
say
of the
here
house.
and tell us here and tell us the difference between what is popular and what the Quran is really saying. So
Okay, we have moved away from topic.
so, so the men now are saying that take hold of the prayer in your house.
Yes.
It's still the word moral.
If your wife is
I
cheating,
want to
if your
pray,
wife
you
is
can
cheating, that's the topic. Your wife is cheating, don't just divorce your wife. There must be a reason. There's a spiritual reason for your wife
behind it.
cheating. If your wife is cheating, it can be an attack. It can be an attack.
What's that demon?
It could be an attack, a spiritual attack. So you sit, you kneel down and you pray. You go naked and raise your hand and tell God to fight for your spiritual.
The Jezebel spirit may have taken over your wife.
Yes. So you go naked as a man and say, "This spirit that wants to break up my family, I come against it."
Let's be real here. I think it's just
Let's not laugh
revenge.
about this, you know, it's serious.
I
It's not
know
revenge.
it's serious, and I think it's just revenge. So you need to take out the choices for the men. Men have choices. There are more women than men in our society all
Who
over
gave
the
you this
world.
data? It's just
No,
like 1% more.
that's what
Just
they
like
say.
1% extra.
It's not 1%. Oh,
It is.
51 of our
It's
1%.
It
So
is
how do we
50,
see
51.
a lot of women and no husband, and then the men?
You don't see the men because you only see few men. You see the green.
You see the
one
one
that
that
Men
a
that are
little bit
ready. Men that are ready.
And
There
more women are ready.
And more women are ready compared to the men. So the men always have options. They will now wonder, I've cuckoo chopped this egusi for how many years? Why do I want to enter world for? If you're going, please be going. So they have options. The only way we can really instill this is to probably take out their options. If you're going to be in a monogamous relationship, let's be sure it's monogamy.
Yeah.
If it's going to be polygamy, let's be sure it's going to be polygamy.
And we
If
are all
polygamy is going to work
polygamy
for us, please, can we adopt this polygamy and save ourselves all of this stress? Because it will be difficult to, get these men together. When they sit together, it's not prayer they want to pray. They want to drink and gist other things they don't want their wives to hear.
No, men's fellowship in this, they pray, but I think they mostly pray about businesses.
No show up, sir.
They pray for business.
But I think most of them need to pray for business
another thing-
because the
another
man's...
thing-
Okay,
Another
go
thing
ahead.
that can actually help with infidelity in marriage is open marriage. Because if my dear,
Yvonne,
you go
take it
first.
away. Let me
no,
let you finish.
because
Go ahead.
for infidelity, if you and I have an agreement that okay, I am a man, I cannot be devoted to one woman alone. Which is what this whole conversation is about. Men cannot just stay one place. So I just think it is unfair why this woman who is at home taking care of the kids and doing all of that is restricted because the society says she must be. Now, when a man and a woman find out that, okay, the husband finds out that the wife is cheating and it's in secret, like you said, and they can contain it, a conversation can come up. This is something that two adults, can sit down together and say, okay, this is what you are into and this is what you must do as a person because you and I have the same blood.
Discreet code. Oh, so you know what? Yvonne has taken us to a different angle. We can't take that topic today. We'll make it a different
You
topic.
always run away from
But
this topic.
this
This
one,
particular
no, this one is interesting because an open marriage, what you're saying, and we're two adults. We have kids. You're cheating, I'm cheating. Let's have a conversation. Let's retain our home
just be safe.
to raise our children in a good home while we do adult things discreetly. That's what you're saying. It's a conversation that we're not going to have today.
That
It's
we
going
never
to be-
have.
we will probably,
are gonna have it, I
when we
want to
come
be
back,
here.
we'll discuss Yvonne's career. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Don't kill for power. If Tolu Tilapia becomes the head of this area, people will suffer.
We don't agree.
From next month, I go become chairman of the whole union. One of them I go take my own position.
I say you be big for nothing. I think borrow you smoke. Saforate. You want contest? No, you want me. You go do that for me.
Yes.
Eh?
Wait.
And as it be so, if Tilapia no try kill him in the next 1 month, when I call me bastard.
Yeah. So you're in that movie.
Yes.
Oh, tell us about that.
Okay, this is Rising. You guys
Rising.
saw Rising. Rising is out in the cinemas today.
Oh,
Today.
congratulations.
7 nights. Yes, so I'm excited. You saw all the cast list.
Fully
I can't
packed.
wait, yes. I can't wait. It's action filled.
What was your role there? What was your character?
The love interest, the beautiful
Aww.
girl.
I'm sure you
Love
played
love
well.
story part.
Give
All
your
these
life
Nigerian
to
movies have
Christ.
been kissing a lot these days.
Ha!
I'm
All of
showing
you
you
are
some
really
things.
daring.
Kiss them.
I don't understand.
See how
So I hope
special.
you don't
But
kiss
then
them.
she'll slap me too now.
You don't see when he's chopping slap.
Too much daring things in these Nigerian movies these days, but it's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank
So
you.
it's on cinema today.
Today.
Any plans to go on?
Yes, I'm going to Ikeja City Mall from here.
Wow, so you
Okay,
can
like
catch
a
her
meet
there.
and greet
Yes,
or
yes,
the
meet
watch
and
out?
greet.
Oh,
My
fantastic.
God.
And also to watch
It
it.
just seems like I've known you forever. Do you
know.
understand? Like you've been in the movie industry forever. And I would like for you to just give us a little part of your journey. How has it been getting to this place, cinemas, and just being a household name?
I joined Nollywood 2 times. Okay, the first time was when I was very young, during the African Queen era. And coming into Nollywood was not, I would not say I had a tough time, but I went for auditions. I trekked. I waka. I climbed Okada where we were for Surulere. So it was a very good experience. But one thing that was kind of set me back at the time was the fact that I couldn't speak Igbo, and I was not an Igbo girl. So most times when I meet the marketers, you know, the likes of those old people, they always say, in Igbo. I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. Like, So the communication was a problem. You know, most of them then were not so enlightened like that. But yeah, they were businessmen. So it was a problem for me to really interact. But somehow, a few of them gave me opportunity. And then I left 2007, came back in 2012. That is when I really came back.
Okay.
Yes, that was when I really came back. And that was why I hear him way. So I just, it was hard because then people who had seen some of my work and then they'll be like, she sabi act that time, she go still sabi act. So I even got somebody who offered to give me a job in Enugu, and he said he called me for a script, and then he said he had 10 scripts in total that he wanted to shoot, and he wanted to put me in all of them. Okay, all right. So how much are you going to pay? He was like, I want to give you visibility. They asked me how much for 10 movies. I'm like, brother, I have a certificate. It was 10. And it was just, I had, yes, I had,
Well, here you are.
I had
Possible
issues
now,
like
but
that. I had
Tell us
problems.
about this movie in particular. How was the what do they call that thing? The casting, the whole
production
production itself.
Yes. Rising was directed by Big Sam, Samuel Olatunji, and I got called for the job. I read the script. I was flipping through and I'm like, this script is not a regular. You snatched my boyfriend. I will deal with it. It wasn't a regular. I was like, okay. And when I get scripts like that, like the one I told you guys I'm going to go do in Akure, I will close it. When I get halfway, I'll close it and start all over again. So I did that with the script and I started all over again, and I knew this is something that I really, really want to be a part of. And you can tell from the script that money will go down. You can tell that all there's accessories and all the, things in the script were money demanding. So I said, okay, this will be a big project. So we went on board, and then I heard we were going to shoot in Oshodi. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to Oshodi to film. But we had to go see certain people, and then they gave us permission to film in Oshodi. So we filmed in Oshodi for almost 2 months. Every day.
Wow.
And no touts, no area
Kidding
boys,
me.
nobody came.
Oh, wow, fantastic.
Because they were well taken care of. It was a very, very good project. It's a very good project.
I'm really excited for
I
you.
met you for the first time on the set of CC Picture Perfect.
I knew your face. And I told you that you were very beautiful, right?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And you were such an amazing actor.
Thank you.
Just get it and you deliver. So how have you been able to hone your craft in such a way that you now give excellence? What sort of practice do you put into a script when you get one? Just tell the viewers.
I first of all, initially before when I just started, I used to rehearse my facial expression. You know, I have a very strong facial expression. So I used to rehearse expressions in front of the mirror. But I think now, what I've been able to do with my performance, acting-wise, is that I sink into my character. I mean, I don't need to have an imagination or anything. If I'm playing this particular role, a woman has lost a husband, has lost her kids, and something else is happening, nothing is good is happening. Yvonne, really, how will you feel?
Yeah.
How will you really feel? So when people ask me, how do you cry? I don't remember anything bad that has happened in my life. I'm sorry.
You just put yourself in that
Just
character.
become the
I
character.
just sink into it.
Okay, we have to wrap up. So just tell us. So we're going on air. You're going cinema today, and it's all the way for a while, and then we go. Are we going to ever get on Netflix or any of the other? I'm not sure yet. So you let us know.
I'm not sure yet if Rising will get on Netflix. The producer will have to determine that. But
Rising's
yes,
cinemas today.
it's gonna.
And you're going to be there as a
Yeah,
Ikeja.
I'll be at Ikeja City.
Are you doing the rounds across
Yes,
Lagos?
I'm doing a round. For today, I'll be in Ikeja because Ikeja is our biggest cinema for now. So, but between this, before the day runs out, I'm sure they'll have to run like a scheduling, yes.
Fantastic.
So
Well
it'll be
done.
me and
Well
other
done.
actors.
Congratulations. So go watch Rising today and let us give you feedback when we do. We'll come to you online and let you know how it is.
Please, I would love to hear.
All right, that's all we can take this week. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Bye for now.